Hello everyone, this is Joe W. Today, I'm re-reviewing Now That's I Call Music 5 and Now That's I Call Music 6. Both albums came out in 1985 on vinyl, and these two re-released CDs came out in 2020. Of course, Now 5 had a month delay due to you-know-what. Now 5 artwork looks quite bizarre, but kind of cool. I like the fact we get the Now Pig with a yellow shirt with some names of artists featured on his album in front of a blue background. Quite cool. Now 6 artwork works pretty mid. I like the fact the Now 6 logo is stitched on some trouser pockets, but not one of the best artworks to me. Let's get to the track lists. Now 5 originally had 30 top chart hits on vinyl, but only 29 on this one, which I'll get to in a minute. Disc 1 kicks off with A View to a Kill by Duran Duran, a really good Bond theme here. The Word Girl by Squitty Putti. I found this tune okay. Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer from Beverly Hills Cop, an iconic instrumental. Really love the synth music in this one, and it's my favourite of Now 5. Johnny Come Home, Fine Young Cannibals. My favourite Fine Young Cannibal songs, a brilliant tune. In Too Deep, Dead or Alive, is a really good tune as well. Icing on the Cake by Stephen Tintin Duffy. I found an okay follow-up to Kiss Me, but Kiss Me is better. Cherish by Kool and the Gang. I found this one okay. Every Time We Go Away by Paul Young. I found it quite a nice tune. Kaylee by Maroon. I found it an okay rock ballad. Also found Slave to Love by Brian Ferry okay. Then we did have This Is Not America by David Bowie with Pat Metheny Group, which unfortunately didn't get licensed on this one, and I'm honestly not a fan of the song. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, a great iconic classic here. Really like the chorus. Get It On, Bang a Gong by Power Station. A pretty good rock cover actually, although I like T-Rex's version better. Black Man Ray by China Crisis. I found an okay tune, alongside One More Night by Phil Collins. Disc 2 kicks off with Frankie by Sister Sledge. I found it an okay start. It's also in Hits 3, alongside Every Time We Go Away by Paul Young. History by My Tai. I found it a pretty good pop tune. I'm surprised My Tai has not featured on any yearbook. Money's Too Tight to Mention by Simply Red, a really good early tune from Simply Red. Also really liked Feel So Real by Steve Arrington. Round and Around by Jackie Graham, a decent pop tune. Turn It Up by the Conway Brothers, a brilliant underrated upbeat tune, one of my favourite ones as well. Magic Touch by Loose Ends. I found an okay song. Another 19 Not Out, oh dear. The Commentators, aka Rory Bremner, which is like a cricket parody of Paul Castle's 19, and I found it terrible in my opinion. Not a fan of original either. The Unforgettable Fire by U2, a really good rock tune. Walls Come Tumbling Down by Style Cancel, a brilliant rock tune, one of my favourites, alongside Walking on Sunshine by Katrina Ways, a really iconic tune. Out in the Fields, Gary Moore and Phil Lynott, another one of my favourite rock tunes on this one. Really like this one. The Shadow of Love by The Damned. I found this one okay. Life in One Day by Howard Jones, a decent Howard Jones song. Love Don't Live Here Anymore by Jimmy Nail. Found it quite meh. Of course, Rose voiced the original. Now 6 also originally had 30 top chart hits on vinyl. Of course, this re-release version only has 29 songs, which I'll get to in a moment. Disc 1 kicks off with One Vision by Queen, one of my favourite Queen classics, a brilliant rock tune. When a Heart Beats, Nick Kershaw, my second favourite Nick Kershaw song behind I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, a brilliant tune. A Good Heart by Fergal Sharkey. I found this classic alright. There Must Be an Angel, Playing With My Heart by Eurythmics, a great iconic classic from Eurythmics. Also like Stevie Wonder's harmonica in this one. Live and Kicking by Simple Minds, another great classic from Simple Minds. Then we originally had It's Only Love by Bryan Adams and Tina Turner on the original, but that sadly didn't get licensed on this one. And it's one of my favourite Bryan Adams songs as well. Empty Rooms, Gary Moore, a decent follow-up to Out in the Fields. Lavender by Maroon, honestly not a fan of this one. The song didn't really fit the genre. Nikita by Elton John, I like this one as well. Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God by Kate Bush, which got to number 1 in 2022 after being on Stranger Things. I found this one okay, though it's pretty overrated to me. Something About You by Level 42, a really good early tune from Level 42. Also liked We Don't Need Another Hero, Thunderdome by Tina Turner. Quite similar to What's Love Got to Do With It, but still really good. Don't Break My Heart by UB40, kind of bland to me. Separate Wives by Phil Collins and Marilyn Martin, kind of mediocre to me. She's So Beautiful by Cliff Richard, I found an okay finish to the disc. Disc 2, Election Day by Arcadia with some Duran Duran members, and I like this one. I Got You Babe, UB40 and Chrissie Hynde. I find an okay cover, though it doesn't beat Sonny and Cher's version to me. Blue, Fine Young Cannibals, which is the first non-top 40 hit to make a Numbers Now album, and I found this song okay. If I Was, Mid-Year, a brilliant underrated classic, one of my favourite ones as well, we like the chorus. Cities and Dust, Susie and the Banshees, I found this one okay. Uncle Sam by Madness, a really good song for Madness. Also really liked Lost Weekend, Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, we like music as one too. You Are My World, the Communards. Jimmy Somerville overdoes his vocals, but I found the song itself okay. Just for Money, Poor Old Castle, not really good tune in my opinion, didn't like it. Miami Vice theme, Jan Hammer, I found this theme okay. Body Rock, Maria Vidal, a brilliant underrated pop tune, one of my favourite ones as well, but my third and now 6 is Tarzan Boy by Baltimore, a really iconic underrated pop tune, really like the Tarzan cry in this one too. Body and Soul, Mai Tai, a decent follow-up to History. Single Life, Cameo, I found an okay tune, alongside Mated by David Grant and Jackie Graham. Of course, we have the tagline, Feel the Quality. I can hear the quality, but how can you feel it? That's the whole track lists. Here's disc 1, I like the disc designs. Disc 2, of course we get the Now App advertisement. Here's disc 1 for Now 6, I like the different colours on this one. Disc 2, another Now App advertisement. Here's the Now 5 booklet. Information about each song of very charted and pictures of each artist. You can also find in the vinyl version. The Now 6 booklet. Pictures of each artist. Information about each song of very charted. Now 5 is a fine album. Some really good classics on this one. Doesn't beat the first 4 in my opinion. Now 6 is okay. Doesn't beat Now 5, but still some really good classics on this one I really liked. That's my review on Now That's I Call Music 5 and Now That's I Call Music 6. Hope you enjoyed. What's your favourite songs of these albums? Comment down below and I'll see you next video.